In at number 7, we have the time to death. Now, Battlefield 6 has come along, like previous titles, with a very fast time to kill, which I think a lot of us really like and really enjoy. But due to a combination of factors, whether that is just the gunplay, in general, some guns have a much faster time to kill than others, which over time will be balanced out. But also, as we've seen, with server-side issues, whereby for ourselves, sometimes playing the game, it seems like it takes ages to get a kill. Whereas when you die, it seems extremely fast, often not even having red around the screen, showing that you're getting hit. It's often a one frame kill. And as you saw at the start of the video there, this does lead to a lot of very frustrating scenarios whereby you might even hit 2 or 3 bullets doing up to 75% of damage on the target before they've even, before the game has even registered a shot as having landed on yourself. For you to then die, of course, this can be extremely frustrating. But this is the lowest because I think it is going to be sorted very simply. Point number 6 is going to cover the general movement in Battlefield 6, as well as the more complicated movement mechanics in this specific clip here being the leaning. Now, Battlefield 6's general movement has tried to copy as best as it can Battlefield 5, and I think a lot of people will admit that Battlefield 5 is one of the best FPS games we've ever seen in terms of its movement mechanics. Battlefield 6 has had a good go at replicating it, and of course I don't know why they haven't been able to copy it exactly given they made Battlefield 5, but it is still quite clunky, it's not very smooth, and the biggest complication here is the sliding, which doesn't activate all the time when you want it to. But in terms of the leaning, of course in Battlefield 6 we have a mounted lean which I'm using here to good effect, as well as an auto lean, which are both very clunky, do not activate all the time when you want it, and limit the movement which you can do while leaning. If they are going to put these two things in the game, the auto lean and the mounted lean, why not put the manual lean in the game, which is a lot more smooth and works exactly when you want and how you want. In at number 6, and maybe controversially, we have the sweet spot mechanic. Now, a few clips here show me dying to a chest shot even after doing 75% plus damage to a sniper with a DMR. The issues this causes is that everyone ends up playing a sniper because, as you can see from my first clip, you can only challenge a sniper now with a sniper yourself. Not even a DMR will work because it gives the enemy sniper such a big target to aim at and a lot of time to be lazy with their aim. It takes away from the skill level of the scout class and snipers in general, of which this class has always been a class, or the class, with the greatest skill level, and this mechanic makes maps like Liberation Peak feel like there is no cover at all and like there is no point in risking a push or taking a sniper hit while doing so, because the majority of the time that sniper hit is now a one-shot kill. It makes the map unplayable. Let's also consider, the other maps in the game which make sniping feel useless, in Cairo, Gibraltar and the New York maps, which are really small, and in effect if you want to snipe, you've simply got to sit on the edge or outside of the map in one spot where you can see hardly any enemies throughout the course of a game, and you still can't benefit from the use of the sweet spot mechanic. So I think we might as well get rid of it. We don't need it. The skill level is much more improved and a higher skill level ceiling without it. So in my opinion, I think the sweet spot mechanic needs to go. In at number 4, we have the class open weapons, of course, versus the class lock weapons. You might have seen this clip a few times already, so apologies if you have on my channel, but it's a very good example of what the class open weapons has allowed to be possible, which a lot of people have said shouldn't be possible. So you see here a 25-26 man kill streak using an assault rifle in the support class, thanks to, of course, having class open weapons. Now, there's obviously a lot of controversy at the moment going around online with regards to this, with many articles saying that, and it's clearly evident, in the menus of the Battlefield 6 beta, the class locked weapon playlists or modes were very much hidden off to the side of the screen, whereby any new player who joined the game, or any players in general, would see the class open weapon playlist first, which of course is going to skew the results which the developers are trying to see, And perhaps they've done this on purpose because they want the game to go down the route of having class open weapons, and this might make the game, of course, cater to the majority of players which they want to attract, whether that is COD players or not, and isn't much so caring about the core player base that that they've always had, being the Battlefield players. So this clip here shouldn't really be possible with class locked weapons. In effect, being able to give myself unlimited health and ammunition with an extremely fast fire rate and fast time to kill weapon from the assault class. Now, maybe the support class needs to be nerfed because currently it is very strong. Of course, you've got unlimited ammo, unlimited health. You can replenish grenades and the shield as well. You've got the defibs, which can get very fast revives, as well as give you instant kills in close range. Often pretty much, a better choice and faster than using your actual weapon. So the support class, maybe that needs to be nerfed. But even if it is slightly nerfed, with the class open weapons, I don't think I played with any other class other than maybe the scout class for the spawn beacon on Liberation Peak. I didn't play with any other class throughout the whole beta, and it's probably going to be the same for me in the main game if this stays as it is, so this needs to be fixed. In number 3, we have the minimap, of course, which, as you can see, shows up a red dot when you are firing. Now, this point is kind of going to be a mess, because this is probably one of my most passionate points and biggest problems of Battlefield 6, and I don't really know where to start with it. And you can see here, as soon as I see the red dots on the map, I'm instantly alerted to that. So, with regards to this is an absolutely major problem in my opinion that should be scrapped immediately. It completely removed the skill level or need for players to get good at listening to the sounds and audio of the game to identify and track down enemies, and it's even reduced the need to look at flags, positions of teammates or dead bodies on the minimap to locate enemy players. The biggest issues caused by this is that you end up getting swamped by multiple enemy players within seconds of firing your weapon, often getting killed while reloading or even while you're in the middle of that first gunfight as soon as you start firing before you even get a kill. And I genuinely believe this as well, that the majority of players now are spending more than 50% of the time in each game actually looking at the minimap, just looking for a red dot on the map to then start charging in that direction to where that enemy is. And this contributes to a more COD-like life cycle of spawning in and getting as many kills as you can before you die fast, and then rinsing and repeating. The game is therefore unplayable for me if you do not use a suppressor. How can you expect to solo wipe a squad or hold a flag to capture it when as soon as you shoot, the whole enemy team knows your exact position on the flag? Flanks don't work either, and it even leads to people not pushing and simply aiming at a doorway because they know exactly that a player is there around the corner. It causes countless problems I can hardly begin to explain. Lastly, the maps that we've seen so far are much smaller than we are traditionally used to as Battlefield players, and it's still 32 versus 32 in the case of Conquest. At 32 versus 32 on even smaller maps, why do we now, more than ever, have to instantly know where enemies are? It should be even easier now, more than ever, even if you're playing with no HUD, to be able to find enemies. So this needs to be scrapped immediately. In at number 2, we have the gunplay, and specifically here I'm talking about the bloom and bullet spread in the game. Now, I've just been killed at 25 meters away. I'm using a DMR, and I'm missing 2 bullets exactly on the head at only 25 meters away because of bullet spread. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I lost and died in this gunfight here, and you can clearly see that it's on target. Now, and this is because of the bullet spread, and not because the scope is, misaligned and bugged, because I have played with this gun for many hours in the beta, and it worked absolutely fine. But you can see there, at 25 meters, the bullet's gone completely off to the side of the enemy's head, and it's ridiculous. Even in this example here, I only get 4 hit markers, and you can count how many bullets actually hit here. There's about 10 bullets which are clearly on target. I mean, we can count them right now if you want. Right, so there's the first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I get the kill. And I've only had 4 hit markers there to actually get the kill. So there's clearly bloom and spread, which is just causing an absolute issue. There's, additionally to that, probably from the last clip, as you can see, there's hit registration issues, which will hopefully be sorted and fixed. But overall, we need to return, like Battlefield 5, where you point and shoot, the bullets are going to hit, but you have to have or improve your skill level, or at least have the skill level in there in the game, of the recoil patterns, which you can actually pull down against with your mouse or your thumbstick and try to control whatever the recoil pattern is unique to the specific gun. So the bloom and spread needs to go. It's an absolute waste of time. And finally, in at number 1, we have the maps in Battlefield 6, of course, of the ones which we've seen so far. And in the background here, I've just got a really nice, long 2-minute streak because the beta has ended, and there's not, there's not a lot I can really show in terms of the maps. But I did do a poll on this on my channel in terms of what, was the biggest problem out of multiple different things which we've discussed in this video, and the map size came out in first place with almost 50% of the votes. Now, the maps, as we know, are much smaller than we're traditionally used to, all while the player count, specifically in Conquest, I know there's been complaints about Rush being 12v12, but specifically on Conquest, it's still 32 versus 32 on very small maps. Not only that, of course, the maps also lack verticality. Empire State has a little bit, but that probably causes more problems than it does good. The fact that they're putting, second, third story buildings directly in the middle of the map, with all the spawns around it on the ground level being at a massive disadvantage and almost like a spawn trap. So they've got to get a good balance of both, obviously, because it's hard for me to sit here and complain about no verticality, and then Empire State, which has a little bit, is actually causing more problem for having it. But the maps overall, from what we've seen so far, and maybe as people have predicted, the beta is trying to cater to Call of Duty players, even more so than their own traditional player base, the Battlefield veterans. They have come out and said there are going to be larger maps upon release, even in the return of the traditional map, classic map, on Operation Firestorm. However, the main or biggest problem and issue the maps have got, even if there's going to be a good mix of small and big ones, is the maps, for example, the Cairo, Gibraltar, and the New York map, which we've seen so far. They don't have a lot of different areas on the map you can go to play if you want to play medium or long range, with a sniper, or even with LMGs to an extent, of which the LMGs are very big and slow, and are therefore almost pointless to use. And as well, there's no point in playing snipers. Unlike previous games and older maps on Battlefield 5, where you could go to different parts of the map and actually play whatever playstyle you want. So, that is going to conclude my top 7 biggest problems in Battlefield 6 so far. Do you agree or don't you agree? Are there any problems in the list which I've not mentioned? Leave a comment below. Of course, this video is entirely my opinion. It's not fact. I'm not telling you it is a fact. Some of these things you will disagree with, but let's have a good general discussion. No hate or angriness. All opinion is good opinion. So leave your comment below, and hopefully I will see you come the launch of the game in live streams and in the comments of my videos. So thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.